Welcome to Get Shirty, the podcast where we ask our guests about the things in life that just never fail to irritate and get them all shirty. The chat focuses on home, work and going out, but could go anywhere. And it's not all doom and gloom, as each guest gets a made-to-measure shirt which they design, so we talk about that too. Funny that, us being tailors. Welcome to this special little bonus edition of the Get Shirty podcast. It's a bit strange one actually, because for starters I'm on my own, there isn't a guest, and it's just going to be a little bit of waffle really, so let's see what comes out. It's like a little mini Get Shirty podcast, like the Waffle edition, let's call it that. I expect you're wondering why. Well, really, firstly, it's a bit of admin needed to be done. Also, to tell you what's coming up in the next few weeks and what's coming in the future for the Get Shirty podcast. We've decided that after the next episode, which will be episode 12, that's crazy, 12 episodes. So, I never thought we'd get that far. But episode 12, we've decided that one is going to be the end of season 1. Whether we'll split them into seasons in the future, I don't know. It just seemed like a really good number to do, good first run to stop on. Also, we're all off on holidays in July and August, various different times. It sort of meant recording them and putting them out was sort of getting a bit pushed for time. So we thought we'll have a little break. Gives us time to record a few more, plan for the future, keeps it sort of nice and fresh and enjoyable for us all. But we will be back in September. We're going to start the second season or the next run with our very first live podcast. Now, we've been talking about this a little bit and we've been running little ads for it in the podcast and all of that, but we are doing our first ever podcast being recorded in front of an audience. Really exciting. We're doing it at the Old Auction House on the Pantiles in Tunbridge Wells on the 4th of July. And yes, of course, that is election day now. Look, I'm not going to name names or throw things. Well, no, look, I will. I think it was called on purpose on that day because we are yet to ask Rishi Sunak to be a guest on the podcast. But look, there you go. I said it. That's the whole reason he's done it that early, because it was a shock to us all. It is on that night that we're doing it. It will be in front of an audience with a special guest. And it's all part of the 2024 Tunbridge Wells Fringe Festival. Who's our guest going to be? We have already announced this, but to make sure you got all the details here and to give me something to waffle about, let me tell you again. Our guest is Matt Riley from the Great British Bake Off. One of the earlier seasons. He's a proper sort of one of the OGs on the Great British Bake Off. Matt isn't just a baker, he is also a writer. He's written a really great book called The Great British Dadventures, and I'm not just sort of saying it's really good. I've got my own copy and it is really good. It's well worth the read. Matt is also an artist. He does paintings, really great paintings, and I'm hoping he's going to bring some along on the night, so they'll be there for you to have a look at. It's not just baking, it's not just writing, it's not just being an artist. He also somehow finds the time to be a fireman as well. I think it's what you called overachieving, but why not? I wish I could do all those things. He'll be our guest for the live podcast. And we'll be talking about the usual Get Shirties along with everything else. And of course, I'm sure there'll be some bake-off secrets in there too. Well, I hope there will be. I'll certainly be asking for some. Tickets are available via the Tunbridge Wells Fringe Festival website. There will be a link in the description of this podcast. Do nip along and get your tickets. They're only £3. Not only a great night out, but it's also a good value for money one as well. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be really interesting doing the podcast in front of people. There's no chance to edit. You know, you just got to let the conversation go. Yeah, it's going to be fun, really exciting, and we're looking forward to seeing you all there. That episode, the live recording, will form part of, well, it will be the first episode of season 2 of the Get Shirty podcast. Very exciting. But between then and now, we haven't just got this mini one, we've got our season ending episode, which will be episode 12, as I said. And what's that going to be about? It's going to be a good old-fashioned roundup of the first season. It's something new to us, this podcasting. I mean, as we bang on about, quite rightly too, is that we're tailors by trade. We are a retail business. We make suits for people all day, and then when we get a bit of spare time, we record a podcast as well. So it's been so new, and we've had great guests. It's been really exciting. It's had challenges. There's been highs and lows, and there's been surprises. More than anything, it's always been fun, and it's something we really enjoy doing, and it seems like you all enjoy it too. So we're really keen to keep it going. We really want to keep it going. But we thought it'd be great to sort of talk about how we found it, what our experiences have been, what it's really like running a podcast, because a lot of people do them now, and there's quite a lot of people out there who don't get past the first couple of episodes. I think it'll be interesting to sort of talk about. It'll be myself, Stuart Hardman. I'm your usual host, and I'll be talking predominantly with the other Stuart who works in the business, who edits and produces the podcast. Look, I forgot what they were called then. He edits the podcast, produces the podcast. We'll be sort of having a bit of a conversation about it all, talking about Get Shirties, looking at how it's been, what the guests have been like, some like behind the scenes stuff and a few extra stories. And also, in the usual fashion, my colleague Sam, hello Sam, will be sitting in her usual spot on the cutting room bench, chipping in and keeping us, as she always does, going along the right path. It will be the three of us, as it always is, but just without the guest. We're really looking forward to doing that as well. It's going to be interesting. Myself and Stu did record a pilot, give it a test before we even sort of started talking to any guests, and we will release that as well as a little bonus episode in between. Keep your ears peeled for that. The next episode, episode 12, season finale. It's going to be a lovely roundup of everything we've done, and then we'll take a couple of weeks break, or a few weeks break, while we record a couple more, get on our holidays out the way and all of that, and then we'll be into the next season. The next season's going to be, I mean, if it even is a season, we might just keep running, but it's going to be more of the same. We're lining up some amazing guests. We're really pleased with who we've got coming up. We can't wait to chat to them and share the conversations, but I'm going to keep that under my hat just for a little while. Yeah, that's for the future. We're going to keep them running as long as possible, and as long as people are enjoying them, or probably even longer than that. We'll just keep going until we get fed up, because hey, why not? We're enjoying it. That's about it for this episode. There's a lot of fun things coming up, a lot going on, and a lot to be excited about for the future. as everybody who ever's done a podcast says, and I'm going to say it as well, do subscribe to us, please. Do follow, do like, do share on all the socials, do leave reviews. All of that helps us to get seen by more people. It sort of introduces the podcast to a bigger audience. And the more listeners we get, the more people will hear about us, the more popular it becomes, the more guests that will just come to us. And it really helps. It really does. And we don't get paid to do the podcast. We do the podcast because we enjoy it. We want to tell people about our business and what we do, but mainly we do it because it's fun and we enjoy it. And we want to share that with everybody else. The more it's shared by other people, the more it's reviewed, the better it is. Please do that. It helps so much. Google, Apple Pods, Spotify, well, wherever you get your podcasts. The other thing I would say along with that is do feel free to get in touch. We have got Instagram. Get Shirty Pod is what we are on Instagram. We're on X, or Twitter as we all still call it. And also the business is on Instagram, Hardman Hemming. Come and say hello. Give us some feedback. Leave us reviews. Tell us who you'd like to have on as guests and we'll reach out to them. If you want to come on as a guest, get in touch. Tell us. We would love some guest recommendations. It would be great. Don't feel shy about getting in touch. I mean, sure, you can even leave us some constructive feedback if you like to. It'll help us get better, and where our shoulders are broad, we can take it, I'm sure. Get in touch. That's what I'm saying. We would love it. So that's about it for this mini podcast. It's a pleasure speaking to you as always. Look out for episode 12. Go and get your tickets for the live event with us chatting to Matt Riley as part of the Tunbridge Wells Fringe. And keep listening. We really, truly love it that you do. Until next time, do try not to get too shirty.